Hey ladies and gents, we're back with some Avorion, and the last video, sorry I've been taking some time off. I've not been feeling well with my allergies. So the last video we breached the barrier, we got inside the center of the galaxy here. What are we going to do next? What are we doing here? So this is what I typically do. The problem with the things inside the barrier, depending on what level you're playing at, these are going to be pretty powerful warships, Zotans, pirates, enemy factions, that kind of stuff. We're typically talking about, and since this is on the expert level, the highest ones I've seen is 1 million Omicron so far on a pirate ship. That was firepower. Hull and shields around 5 million hull, 5 million shields. That's the most powerful warship I've seen so far into the center galaxy. So once you're breaching that barrier, you should be around that 5 to 10 million shields and roughly 3 to 4 million hull as well. But the problem is you're coming from the outside the barrier. You just don't have the weapons, and that's really where it makes a difference here in the center of the galaxy. You're really going to have to up your firepower. So to do that, excuse me, we have a couple different options. We want to friend as many factions as we can. Excuse me, in the center of the galaxy. I got lucky. A couple of these factions were on the outside edge, so I already seeded them with mines, and I'm already in good status with them. And that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm going around exploring the outside edge, or the factions on the inside of the barrier, and I'm starting to seed mines. I've seeded an aluminum mine here, try to get these guys friendly, at least a good reputation where I can start buying from their turret factories. These guys are already at good. I've got these guys at good. These guys are good now. Like I said, I'm seeding mines using my exploration ship, which is this little guy. I only have 650,000 for the shields on this thing, but it does over 5,000 meters a second. So there's nothing, and I don't even have weapons on this. I don't rely on weapons and a scout ship. However, on the scout ship, I do use the trading overview, and what that does is allows me to jump into these sectors, lay down a mine real quick, and then move on. I'm exploring as I go, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show you a trick. I don't know if people have seen this before. I don't know exactly how many people have seen all the videos that I've produced. But one of the easy ways to do mapping out a faction is simply when you're in your, for example, in your ship here, you're going to see the greens here. So what you're going to do is you're going to tag the sectors. One at a time, one at a time, one at a time. You're just going to keep tagging them so they're all tagged. So the problem is when you jump out of the ship, you want to be able to use this to keep exploring. So we're going to tag all the sectors that are green right here, and then we're actually not going to jump into each one individually. What we're going to do is go back to a different ship, and then we're going to do this through using the commands. So I've literally mapped everything out doing this. It's the easiest, fastest way without having to buy the thing from the faction that shows all of their stations and all that kind of stuff. I simply use this. Now, like I said, once again, we're looking for better weapons. So we want turret factories around the outside edge if we can't get that. So outside of 75, once again, everything in this game is tech level wise. So these tech level turret factories out here are around 45 to 47. Most factions don't get closer than roughly the 50 mark from the center of the system, from 0-0. There's 0-0. So they stay out a little ways, so you don't get the high-end tech factories. To get those, you have to do what I'm doing here. I got moved to a turret shipyard in here, and I'm starting to build turret factories at 1-1, right next to 0-0. This leaves me the highest possible tech factories possible, which are tech level 52. And I'm going to spawn these until I get the weapons that I want. If you don't want to do this, of course, you can simply buy them off of... And honestly, anything above tech level 45 is usually pretty good. So you can go to... You don't even have to do what I'm doing here. You simply just go to these factions here, get good rep, get to their turret factories, and start building the better weapons. Because you're going to need them to take on the stuff in the center. Same way with getting Avorion. Early on, I don't even mind Avorion right off the bat. I usually go and just simply buy it from a couple of the resource depots that are as close as possible. Anything within under 75, from anything within under 75 this way most likely we'll have Avorion available. So that's where I usually get my first Avorion to start out with. So we're going to jump out to back to our center here. We're going to look at some of the stuff, at least the turret factories, what you're going to be looking at possible damage-wise is you're going to get out of these things. And the problem with, well, we're going to do of course, the scout right now, just a simple way of scouting. We're going to go to him, and we're just going to, whoops, there we go. And we're just going to simply all those green sectors that we spotted out, and we're just going to let this ship, because these are green sectors, so he's not going to run into any of my pirates or any of that kind of stuff. However, he's going to jump sector to sector, and he's going to find out what's in those sectors for me. Simple way of actually doing that. So I built my first space yard, or my shipyard here in the center. However, I also built my first turret factory. This is going to give you kind of an idea of how bad the weapons are you going to get once you're into the center of the galaxy. And of course, this is of we're at tech level 52, and we're going to build turrets. So you can see here, tech level 52. Weapons wise, you're going to run into a lot of essentially coaxial weapons, which usually give you the highest amount of damage DPS wise. So we're at 35,000 for the DPS. You can upgrade these, of course, and we're going to go through these again. These turret factories, we did this other time, so we're at 44,000 for the coaxial. Some of the rail guns here, right around, I do believe this one's going to be around 10,000, and about a cost of 28 million to, so it's going to give you kind of an idea what it's going to cost you to build these weapons. These are going to be extremely expensive, so you want to make sure your passive income's up and running before you start buying large numbers of these. But this is a great one with 10,000 DPS, but it's only a 2 slot, so I can put lots and lots of these kind of railguns on there. Or like I said, I can go and buy these huge, massive coaxial Teslas. But yeah, there is at least an idea of what my usual plan is when I get here. Right here I've already produced the next set of turret factories. I'm going to keep spawning them and hopefully get some really ridiculous firepower going here. And I've moved most of my ships into the center of the galaxy now. I've left my passive income running out here. I think I only have 2 ships out here. These are ones that are, of course, what they're doing out there is still collecting Boswax, Botan Smuggler, that kind of stuff, in case I decide to get a bigger and badder set of more ships built. Of course, those artifacts are awesome. The other great thing is eventually when we get going here, at this center area, I'm going to build a research station, which is going to be a tech level 52. So all that's farmable turrets that you're going to get out here, you're going to go in here and research them at tech level 52, and you're most likely going to get some pretty awesome weapons out of the deal when you get done. And of course, I'm also going to build a resource depot, because this is the largest concentration, of course, at 0-0, largest concentration of Avorion in this area. So I'm going to start mining it. And the problem is with the mining in this center of the galaxy is that every single place with a yellow blip has tons and tons of Zotans. So you're going to have to clean those sectors out before you're going to be able to start mining. Now, there's one right there. That was the only one I think I found that didn't have Zotan. Everything else has tons and tons of Zotan. So you're going to have to be able to clean these guys out before you can even start mining the Avorion here in the center. Of course, you can mine in the friendly sectors over here. These are most likely will have Avorion in them. There's always a possibility to do that, but to really get the large amount of Avorion, the center here is the best place to do it. So that's my general plan when I'm in the center of the galaxy here, is get the better weapons, get the Avorion going, get my ship big enough, powerful enough to start being able to take out large chunks of these Zotans, doing the research to get, of course, the better weapons. Now I'm at tech level 52. It's going to be a lot easier to get the legendary and the exotics and the higher end, 10, 20, 30,000 DPS kind of weapons, just by using the ones I harvested from the outside. All the essentially all of the bosses that you fight out there. Just harvest all the turrets, come in here, and use the research station at right next to right next to 00, to build your massive, super overpowered weapons. So with that said, guys, I hope we get more videos up and going here as I feel better. But this is to give you kind of a general overlay of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing once I breach the barrier and I'm inside the center. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching and have a good night.